Welcome to Red Dot Rondo, and this is a feature brought to you by Backpass with Ras. And in this feature, we will be speaking about social and amateur football in Singapore. So today's team in Spotlight, we've got Kamikaze, a very interesting name with historical connotations to the past. Anyways, to represent the team, I've got with me Vicknesh, Dinesh, and Jana. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Hi guys.
Hi.
How you guys
Hi.
doing?
Hi, Ras.
Hi, Vicknesh. How you doing? How are all of you doing?
Great.
Doing great. Have
Okay,
you all
it's been a
been on
busy period,
holidays?
but
It is a busy period for us actually because all of us have got young kids and settling them for the next year will take some time off us lah. Yeah, but on top of that, we are still enjoying what we have to do, where we have to go, holidays, keeping the
Yes.
family in check, keeping our jobs in check. Yeah, it's a typical Singaporean life, you say.
I think that probably sums up the rest of you, right?
yes. Holidays also tired. Back to work also tired.
Okay, let's get the show on the road then. All right.
Right.
Let's get to the origins of the team. The team name, how did it come about, first of all? When was it formed? When was this team formed? Where was it formed? Who founded it? Give us the lowdown.
Okay, I'll take this. I'll take this first question. So, I think most of us loved soccer from a young age. I think we grew up, our generation, we grew up in the time of Malaysia Cup and Sea Games, where it was a big deal, where our S League was a big deal. So in 2004, a group of friends in Nian Poly, they combined together and all they wanted to do was to play a match against the Indian Cultural Society.
Okay.
These were the non-ICS boys who wanted to play a match against the Indian Cultural Society. And so they started to form a team, get in fellas from all Nian Poly boys, and then they started getting in their friends from outside. So I was one of them. So we played a couple of matches. I think by the time we played our second match, we were called the NT-ICS. And then we realized that NT-ICS was not really a identity or a name of sort. So we were walking, a group of us were walking. We were actually in Nian Poly itself. I still remember the place, Canteen 2, exiting, getting up the bridge, and then we were just trying out different names. Where one of our friend, I think Arafat, his name is Arafat. There's another guy called Yasin. These are all the founding members.
Okay.
Said, hey, how about Kamikaze? And then we looked at each other. It's like, yeah, I think, because, we were a bunch of motley crew. None of us, not all of us could play very well, but we never say die. Yeah, I said, that's our tagline, never say die. So, and that's it. The name stuck. 20 years on, the name has stuck.
Wow, that's a very long time. Considering the fact that you are playing social amateur football here, 20 years for the team to sustain is fantastic. It's commendable to all of you. Are the founding members still part of the team?
So yes, the founding members, we are still in the chat. So you look at the three jerseys, right? So Jana is now the manager of the latest generation. So that is MMXV, our second generation team. Dinesh is the manager of the senior team, Kamikaze FC, the seniors. And then mine is the veterans, so-called veterans. So we call ourselves the Rangers, Kamikaze Rangers. So we are still in touch. We try to play one friendly, the original members, we try to play one friendly a year. That is our KPI. But otherwise, I think that they are vested. They are definitely interested. So whenever the team has a big match or we are in a championship run, the seniors, the founding members definitely send their best wishes. So, Fun fact, Ras, we founded the team trying to play the Indian Cultural Society, right?
Yes.
20 years on, we have not played with them even once.
Oh, really?
So
what happened to that match then?
It never happened. It is one of those matches that never happened. But we have come a long way, and we thank them. To be honest, and many of them became our friends. In fact, we co-opted many of them into our team. They became key players, but we never had a match with them.
Were they a good bunch? That team, was that a good team that you're supposedly gonna play against?
They were fantastic team, fantastic players. Yeah, they were a bunch of good boys.
Okay, cool. So now, what does it mean being part of Kamikaze FC for the players and as a team as a whole?
I'll take this question actually. Yeah, so basically, being part of Kamikaze FC, it means more than just playing football. Like down the years, right, we realize it's about family, it's about loyalty, it's about the relentless pursuit of the excellence, both on and off the pitch.
Okay.
Right. Since 2004, this team has been my second home, I'll say. Even though I've shifted a few places, but this is really my second home. A place where friendships are forged, challenges are overcome together as a team and as friends who eventually become family. And individual passions come together to create something that is truly extraordinary, that we can hold it right till now for 20 years. To the players, it's a journey of, I will say, growth.
Okay.
We support each other through highs and lows, constantly pushing to improve, not only as football players, but as individuals in their own lives as well. This particular team, Kamikaze, FC, gives us a platform to express ourselves on and off the pitch. We can share anything and everything, and the guys are willing to listen. At the same time, we also build resilience. And the basic is we really learn the true meaning of brotherhood and teamwork. I'll say that. Other than that, for the team as a whole, for the seniors, the juniors, it's about the legacy and purpose. Every kick, every pass, every goal is a contribution to a tradition that goes beyond just winning games. It's about creating a culture of football commitment, self-respect, building your own self-esteem, the sheer determination that inspires everyone, even opponents who see us wear this jersey and this logo. When they know it's Kamikaze jersey, you can see that there will be respect. They will go hard on us. But at the end of the day, they know it's a football game. So if you ask me to sum it all up, being part of Kamikaze, it's a privilege.
Okay.
Privilege. I will confidently say it's one of those defining experiences in my life. And this team isn't just part of what I do. It's a part of who I am, and I'm very sure most of the guys will agree to that.
Well, that's fantastic. The way you've expressed that.
Yeah.
Really passionate.
Yeah.
It comes through to me as well. I'm not part of the team, but wow, it comes through to me. Fantastic. Well said. But I've got this question. So as you are aware, in the social amateur football scene, you do not have your own home stadium.
Yeah.
But you always have a preferred place where you like to play your home games.
Yeah.
Where is the home for Kamikaze? Which area in Singapore?
Okay, I'll take this. I think, to be honest, right, in my 20 years, and these boys have also been around for 20 over years. I think we have played in most fields across Singapore. I think, we don't really have a home ground. But if you ask us where we are most comfortable playing, I would say it's Boon Lay Secondary.
Oh,
there's something about this Boon Lay Secondary pitch, right? We have played there so many times. I don't know whether it's the dimension of the pitch or there's just something about that we play most of our wonderful matches. We have had really good memories there. Free flowing football, both for the senior and the junior teams.
Okay.
It's I would think that's one of the pitch that has fond memories for us. In fact, that's also part of the reason is we have played there so many times. So. But
and all your players come all from all over Singapore?
Yeah. So, previously we had a preference. We only wanted to play on central games or west games. But over the years, I think our players have really evolved in terms of discipline, in terms of commitment. So now wherever we are, more than a home field, I think we have a home league. And I think X League is in one of days is our home league. I think we also have Adibola as well. But I think in Singapore, we really cannot look at when you're a social team, right? You cannot look at a pitch. You just have to be ready to go wherever and do your best. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right spirit to have, especially in today's times where pitches are premium, so difficult to get.
Yes.
Yeah. And okay, this is now the next question is again on the makeup of the team.
Mm.
How does Kamikaze FC get players from all over, all different walks of life coming together? Because I know, okay, the foundation you already mentioned, you're all from most of you are polymates.
Yeah.
Now you've all evolved. I'm sure
Yep.
there's been a conveyor belt also, players dropping out, new
Yep.
players coming in, which is the norm. So how does this now, how do you assimilate everyone in?
Yeah, so this one, so I think this question pertains to me, like, because now I'm managing the junior team. So
Yeah.
actually, in all essence, right, we just don't discriminate. We take players from all walks of life and also all races, Chinese,
Mm.
Malay, Indian. As long as you have the passion to play, like what Nash and Victor said, you want to play soccer, you want to prove yourself in the social football, you want a team to play in, we are ready to take you. We can develop, we can train. If you think that further up, you want to move on to another league, so be it. But Kamikaze will always be the first place and the first team that gives you the opportunity to express your soccer talent. So that's the main thing we actually do. It's the main outlook we have. I'll take in a player. You don't have to be a superstar. You can be a person just starting off playing soccer. We will take
Okay.
you, we will train you, we will build up to what your potential can be, and then we go from there. You can be one of our legendary players, or you can be one of our key players, both in our team and outside team. So that's how we keep our players in. And we will never, yeah, what I would say is that the players that we have, like I say also they highlighted, because of the way we are, the way we do things, and how we can attract players, right? They are committed to what we do. They will play
Okay.
for us wherever and whenever we have a match, and they will just come there and play for the match.
All right. So you mentioned that you're part of the junior team. How young is this team?
Okay, so a bit background story of mine. I was one of the first few who joined Victor in the old clan 20 years ago when I was 15. So
Wow.
down the line, in and out of the team because of NS and studies. Then the team, I joined them back about 8 years ago, just about 2 years, I think, 2 years before COVID or something. Yeah, so at that point of time, they were around 21 to 20. So
Okay.
now the team has developed, I would say, still in the prime. And the youngest player now we have is 19 years old.
Okay.
And we're going to recruit one more that is 17. And it's a very good talent that we have now. These talents are the ones that are not recognized out there because they haven't showcased themselves.
Mm.
So we just be a stepping stone for them to just prove, because once you step into a social football league, right, that's when you get to know people get to know you. They start to approach you, higher league get to approach you, and then that's when they can develop from there. Lah. And yeah, I'm the oldest one in the league at the moment.
And has there been any success stories that you guys have developed or a player has come through Kamikaze and played in professional football?
Yeah, we have actually we have had many. In fact, I think Kishon used to play for
Sure.
Hougang. Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
he used to. When we saw him play in S League and we saw him score the goals, we are very 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 proud of him, because we are proud to say that he was one of those that came to us, and we gave him a platform. He played. He was very good. And then when it was time to move on, he did. He moved on, and we're still good friends. In fact, he has completed his professional journey. Now he's playing. He has actually founded a team of his own. And while we might be rivals on the pitch, we are always proud of their success. And
Mm.
in fact, once we had Adriana Jones. Adriana Jones used to play for us for a couple of matches, and she went to play. She was a female player. We had to ask the organizer for permission to play for the team, and I know the opponents agreed. She went on to represent, I think, if I'm not wrong, it was Melbourne in the A League.
Oh.
So we have had our fair share of success, but I think the greatest success our players, for me personally, the greatest happiness comes to me when, we get to attend their weddings. We get to hear that they are getting promoted in work. That's the biggest happiness, Russ,
Yeah.
really, to see them develop and to be there, seeing them take from step to step.
Any horror stories involving players that come in and then, given you a whole lot of trouble or, just, been horrific experience for yourself and your team?
I think with social football, that's the thing. I think everything is a trial and error. We learn through prayers. I think we develop as well. I think Jana will have his fair share of horror stories. Dinesh will have his fair share of horror stories. But every player is to us is a lesson. Every player is one of the key facts is we never close the door on any player. Never. So as long as the player is ready to learn from their lessons and to come back, our doors are always open. Because we have a saying in Kamikaze: once a Kamikaze player, always a Kamikaze player. So you will always have a space, in one way or another.
That's beautiful. Dinesh, this question I got to ask you: what are some of the key challenges that you face as a team in Singapore, in this whole landscape of Singapore social leagues, in fact? How many leagues have you all played in? Now I know you're an ex-league. What's your origins?
We started off in Cash Arena Football League. Then we went to Goal Arena. Then we were with D2D. And then we went to Ministry of Football, MOF League. Then now we are in D-Bola as well. Yeah, the D-Bola. Yeah, I think. And every now and then,
X-League as well.
X-League, ESPN. We were in ESPN for a couple of seasons, there's so about 7-8 leagues.
Yeah, you more or less have tasted all the leagues and some of the pioneers as well in that list of amateur social football in Singapore.
Yeah.
So back to you again, Dinesh. Your question.
Actually,
my question to you.
So thanks for giving me the time to think. Actually, So actually, there are several challenges actually for teams like Kamikaze and other social teams. The first thing is the diminishing of the football culture itself. There has been a noticeable decline in spontaneous football activities, I'll say.
Yes.
One to name, void deck games, which were once integral in Singapore's football culture. These were the places where young talent was spotted. Milo Cup, we will remember, the Milo Cup and all of that.
The Milo program as well.
The Milo program. These things, when they are gone and no one talks about it and no one bothers whether if this has been the positive impact. This shift actually has impacted grassroots engagement and the organic development of local talent, I would say. And the next thing, if you think about it from a country perspective, from a grassroots, now we move up to a country perspective, is the limited access to playing spaces. Singapore's dense urban environment makes free open spaces very limited. There are school fields, there are stadiums, there are pitches available for booking, but they often come with fees. And where are we going to find all these young talent who don't have that money to pay? So basically, you basically eliminate such opportunities, or you reduce those opportunities for casual play or impromptu matches. Other than that, I think just this year they open up the SYL. But in terms of the youth engagement and development, right, the structured nature of modern life, combined with the academic pressure that it brings to the youth by the parents themselves, has led to decreased physical activity among the children and the youngsters. They shift towards the technology and they need the aircon. They don't even want to go to coffee shops anymore. They want to just, I want to eat in a restaurant. These people, this trend, right, possess challenges in nurturing the next generation of youth who have to have the enthusiasm in playing football in the grass pitch or the artificial pitch out in the sun. Other than that, there are a few more factors I can think about. This is a bit touchy, but I'll try my best to keep it diplomatic as possible. Grassroots competition have historically received very minimal portion of football
coverage
budget, right? Leading to perceptions of inadequate support for amateur teams. These financial constraints can basically hinder the growth and sustainability of teams like Kamikaze. There are many teams that form up and they were once very good footballers there. But because there is no support and backup, because of that, eventually those teams are no longer in the team now.
Can you name some?
I would prefer not to, actually.
Okay. Your
So,
choice.
but I would like to name teams that we are still looking up to and still around. I think Mexican Aces. I think they're still around and they're doing very well. We're very proud of them. Madhu is no longer with us, but I think God bless his soul. But he is an idol, someone we look up to, and and I think we wish them all the best. And on the futsal scene, we have La Plata. We see them doing wonders, still keep going. So these are the role models that we look up to, honestly. But yeah, there's been so many talent. I just pick up on his point now, just that we just wish there was an umbrella organization to anchor us all. Right now, we are doing all of whatever we're doing on our own. We just wish that we had an umbrella organization that can anchor us, guide us. So yeah, but that's life, lah. We can complain, or we can just try to lead the four. That's what we have done. I think these two guys here are example of taking matters into their own hand. They are leading both their teams on their own, and and they're doing a pretty decent job despite all the constraints. I would like to give them credit.
Yeah. Then the last challenge that I would like to speak about is if you take it on a personal basis, players like us often juggle football with our personal and professional responsibilities.
Yeah.
So as we age, we work, changes happen in life. So making consistent participation and team cohesion, right, becomes challenging for us. But we constantly try. We prioritize work, we prioritize family, but we at the same time also prioritize Kamikaze, and we are very thankful that our better house understand that actually Kamikaze is our way of life. So we are very thankful to our better house to understand actually. Hey, when we speak to them and say, "Oh, today got Kamikaze. It's a Sunday." Then they'll say, "Nema, it's okay. You go and come. Evening we will then go out." So it's really the challenges is really something. The balancing of commitment is also a huge challenge for us, I believe.
What time do you guys normally play?
As long as the pitch is available and the pitch is given to us and say this is the time we play.
but typically 1 to 3. The 1 to 3, but yeah.
All right, okay. Dinesh, you've got a young kid in your arms as well.
Yeah.
So you're speaking a lot about the younger generation and all that. For your son, what are you like? You've spoken about this challenges that the different now, the younger generation is not like what it used to be in our time. For your son, how are you helping him along in this path?
Yeah, so basically, this guy is a football enthusiast because he learns that Papa plays football every other week. So there was once I actually brought him, then he saw us playing, and then he said, "Papa, I also want to learn how to play football." So he watches on YouTube, he sees football and all of that. And then just so happened, I met my former coach, Steven Tan, a Singapore player actually, at St. Wilfred Beach. So he was talking to me, we were just having a casual conversation. Then he said, "Hey, are you married or not?" I said, "Yeah, I have a son." Then he said, "Bring him in." I said, "Where?" Then he said, "Oh, just, I'm running this Active SG. I'm the head coach for the Bendemeer Secondary School." So at the age of 3 itself, he went in for training, and since then he has been training with Active SG under Steven Tan actually.
Oh, that's great.
And he's been playing for about close to about 3 years. And there is significant improvement. Yeah. And this guy's favorite player is Granacho. Yeah.
Garnacho, okay, good
Yeah.
choice. Good choice in terms of team.
Yeah. I would say that too.
But don't leak match lineups.
Yes. Yes, that's now quite a buzzword. Has anyone done that for you? Leaking out match?
No, because why? No, we ourselves will not know the match lineup until we get to the pitch.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I had a team once upon a time, and yeah, I completely understand that. You on paper, before you leave home, you might have 16, 17, good number. Once you get there, it's like, what? Along the way, you get texts and all that coming in saying, sorry, I cannot make it. I got this, I got that, and all. Yeah. Yes, I completely understand. Vic, I want to ask you about memorable on-pitch achievements for Kamikaze. What are some of the most memorable
Oh, this is tough, man, because I've played in a few matches, we've won. I think we have won quite a bit. We wouldn't say we're the most successful team, but I think we are very happy with our our successes. But the one that I will never forget is the cup, our only cup win till date. This happened back in 2010. So we entered, it is because the World Cup period. So they organized a Champions Cup. That's the name of the cup. We played, and then in a semi-final we played against this team called Outsiders. Outsiders FC is a very famous team, and the backstory is 4 years ago, 4 years before then, in 2006 they had trashed us 10-0. 10-0 was our heaviest defeat, and we are playing them in the semi-finals.
This was called the League of
there's
Champions,
so
right?
much to riding. Yes, League of Champions, you're right.
So all the different
and it was a knockout.
Are playing in that.
Yes, correct.
I remember, yeah.
Yes, and then semi-final match against Outsiders, we beat them 2-1. Of course, we won the final. Yeah, and the final was very memorable. Our keeper made a last-minute penalty save. We won the match 2-1. But that semi-final, I'll never forget, because we gave our hearts out against a top-notch team to win them 2-1. And then, last 10 minutes, we're defending our hearts out. I think, I will never forget that match. Really, I will never forget it.
Where was that played?
At Hawaii Sec.
Hawaii Secondary. Okay.
At Hawaii
Also,
Secondary.
tight field.
Yes, tight field. And till the last minute, we were just clearing, because there was just one goal separating us. And I tell you, our boys, when the final whistle blew, we just, I would think that outsiders would think that we went over the top. But to be the team that beat us 10-0, right, and to go to the final at their expense, I think, I would take it. But there have been too many, really. In fact, there have been, to be very honest, the defeats are the ones that you never forget. We have had so many painful defeats, but we keep coming back, and we promise to come back. Yeah.
Okay.
Kamikaze, remember? Never say die.
Okay, when you talk about defeats, anyone in particular that still stings you?
I think there was a cup semi-final loss, a cup final loss as well. But you defeats, I think the night after, right? The night itself, I think we don't sleep. There's so much of pain, there's anger and everything. But the next day, you just brush it off and you promise to work hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any rivals that you have from across all these years?
Rivals, yes. Okay, so this is our strategy. I think it's quite open. I think whenever we see rivals, right, I think we look at them with a lot of respect. And then after a while, we look at their players. We see who are these players who will come in and to strengthen us. So after a while, we co-op the players. So you look at D-Boys, our D-Boys, Galacticos. These are all players who have been our rivals at one point of time. Yeah. Eventually, they became our players. East Boys, we had this team called East Boys. They became our players. So Kawabanga, they became our players. So yeah, we that's our thing. We are an open door team. We are always open to talent. As long as you're willing to play and you're committed, you can stick to our system. You're welcome. So we may not outplay our opponents, but we will definitely outlast the opponents.
Fitness sounds like a very fit team.
Fit is one thing, but when we outlast the number of years.
Outlast in terms of the experience then.
Yep.
Okay, Jana, early on you spoke about training. Where are these training sessions held? How often are they held? And can you maybe give us a bit more, some insights on strategy that you employ on the pitch, as well as team bonding?
So training wise, since we start X League, right? So there wasn't really much opportunity after the league ends to have like a good 1 month, 2 months to have training. But before we actually entered X League, there was a period of about 2 months, which we actually had only Kamikaze team practicing our tactics and stuff about, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. And then we went into a full-fledged friendly for about, I think, 12 games. The training paid off because that league that year, we were invincibles. We won the league without losing a single game.
Wow.
So tactics-wise, so it comes from me, it comes from Victor, it comes from Sealan, a few of them. So we actually see videos, how they play the game, how they move around, how you corner kicks and everything. We try to employ. So the problem we face most of the time is how do you actually gainfully apply this to these boys here without having weekly trainings? So we actually make it layman. You just have to go here, have to go there, we practice during the training. Then during matches, we want to try anything new, right? We just say, okay, let's try this out. Very simple movements, 1, 2 touches, 3 touches, make the run and everything. It may not happen the first game, but 2 games, 3 games down the line, you can see the significant improvement because the boys are following the tactics. So the training, I would say, right, apart from that period, right, our training is on every game that we have. Every game is a training game, even though it's a league game. So we improve game by game. Yes, there will be some games that no, it doesn't work, and then you may fall out, but learn from that. The next game, we make sure that we don't do the same mistakes we do. So that's how the tactics wise we actually do it.
Nice. Any unique kamikaze tradition that you have or rituals before you go on a pitch, before you start a match? Tradition would of course apply to maybe during the season you always make it a point that, you know, one day in a year we have a chalet or whatever, you know, maybe it could be something else. Is there anything like that?
No, there is. So recently we tried to make it a bit more different. So previously I used to have is a yearly event. We have been to Sentosa. I think one of the most significant ones we had is Palawan Beach. Then we had chalets, we had awards night. So what we started off the last few years was awards night. This night is we among the management team which we fork out all the money to actually get awards for the team players. Those have performed well. We have our Golden Boot Award winners for Kamikaze, top goal scorers and everything with slides flashing and everything to make it. So basically, the players will feel that, you know what, I'm playing for Kamikaze, and this Kamikaze team actually adores me. They recognize what I'm doing. So this is something that we're trying to do, and I would say it's a tradition. It's a culture that we are going to continue. And apart from that, we are trying to get more gatherings in the sense like barbecue sessions, because these are the sessions, right? Apart from the after game sessions where you're going to have dinner or lunch, right? That brings the team together. If you don't have these sessions, right, it's just let's meet up for exercise. Basically, as same as you go to gym for 1 hour, 2 hour, which I really feel that it doesn't bring the bonding good enough. So I make it a point, and in fact, everybody, I think any of the Kamikaze managers before me, I make it a point that after match, as much as possible, we meet up together, we have lunch, we talk about the game, and that's when you do something mistake in the game, we just make fun of it, you play, we talk it out. We don't get any anger on the pitch, we just read it out and just talk about it. So that next game we come out right, we are just fresh from it, and then we just go as brothers already. No more arguments or no more conflict between us.
Okay, that's nice. I'm also thinking about this. You've played for 20 years. That's a very long time. What I've mentioned at the start as well, you know, for a social team to maintain itself for so long, it's not an easy task. What keeps you guys motivated, and also the players as well, to keep coming, keep playing, and keep going every week? Now, especially that you are in a league as well, you play matches probably weekly. So, what is the motivation?
I think the main one is, I think maybe staying from the first question. The motivation is actually right. Number one is passion for football. Number two is you're playing for the match. Kamikaze, the name for Kamikaze and the vision and motto for Kamikaze. Never say die. And always once a Kamikaze, always a Kamikaze. We play, we will lose, we win, we are still one as a team, and we will always be there as a team. If so the new guys who come in, so how do we actually make these new guys have this feeling? So
Yeah.
very simple. Very simple we do it. When they play on the pitch, so we cannot expect them to come in first time already, you're fantastic, you can gel. We motivate them. We make them feel assured that, you know what, you can make mistakes here, you can learn here, we will not ostracize you or discriminate you, give you lesser playing time and everything. So that's how they actually learn to love the club. We have a few cases recently, a few players who recently came, played for us for 5 games, and they actually texted us, you know, bro, I love the way your team actually improve me, talk to me, motivate me. I've not seen this in other teams. So I'm not saying other teams don't have this, they may have this, but I think those fellows who came to us actually had seen this the way we run things, and actually they love the club, and then they become one of us, Kamikaze.
Yeah, that's the buy-in I was referring to as well. I was gonna get to that, and you've got to that point as well on the buy-in. How you got the buy-in of the new players for the club. So that's well said. I want to ask you guys this question as well. Social football in Singapore, what have been some of the worst things that you've experienced playing social football in Singapore?
So many,
Very
really
very
so
broad
many. I
question.
think, okay, First thing is, I think let's address the elephant in the room. I think Active XG has their own plans, and together with the Unleash the Raw movement, they have their own plans of developing football, in which I think grassroots football really doesn't count. I don't think they affected grassroots football in it. Let's be honest. To them, I think they are looking at grassroots football as something that adult men just do to while their time away. They don't see it as a viable pool of talent. They have that tunnel that no one else can filter in, and that's what they're looking at. So as a result, that the fields, the biggest problem is we don't get fields. Our organizers, we so many good organizers have pivoted over the years because they are just not able to get the fields.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. Second is, I think, referees. I think we have had the blessing of and having encountered many good referees whom we have really learned a lot. These referees are stern, fierce, but they teach us the laws of the game. And they're cool about it. But we have also encountered very bad referees who have no idea what the rules are. And it's horrible. It really can sour the game, especially if you're playing a league game and the referee makes a wrong call, refuses to acknowledge it. We don't have VAR in the grassroots football. So I think these are the two factors: fields and referees, and the entire ecosystem is just not there.
Have you ever had
that's
an experience
the
where
sad part.
you book the pitch and the opponent doesn't show up, or you come there and then there are two other
Definitely.
teams there?
But I have to this one I have to give credit to all the organizers. I think organizers have because they are the ones who suffer the most, right? So over the years they put in really solid safeguards. I think in the past 10 years I've not had that problem, but in the starting years, so definitely, it'll be just a text, no, sorry, my team can't make it, and that's it. Pump, our weekend is gone.
Yeah.
We had to fight against either the weather
Yes.
or the other thing, the Singapore, the sun will be shining brightly. That's the actually frustrating part now.
Correct.
Sun will be shining brightly, but because where we are located, once the lightning signal picks up, the lightning warning system picks up 2 kilometers away, that's it. And there's no mechanism against it. That's the most frustrating part, really. So, of course, we wish that more common sense prevails, but it's not always very common.
And you guys play football, are still playing in the league nowadays. This is a personal observation. Obviously, you might know that, I'm also running a league of my own, a few leagues of my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have made this observation that since COVID, I've noticed that teams have got a bit more aggressive on the pitch. Have you noticed that change a bit?
I think they're just trying to put a name for themselves once COVID, and because we are once COVID 2 years to almost 3 years, not many teams were out of the picture. They just want to come in and just make sure that their name is up there. So that you can see that some of the teams that started after COVID, right, they actually go crazy on the pitch, to make it short.
Yes, exactly. And I would have thought that because of COVID, you've not played football for so long, you'll be appreciative to the fact that we are back again playing football. You get to enjoy the game. People would be a bit more mellow in terms of playing, and they would also understand, okay, we come here, we enjoy the game. We don't want to get into all this silly nonsense of fighting and over the top aggressive play and all that. But instead, the flip side of it is that we are seeing a lot more teams now, they're playing that in that way. As an organizer as well, for me, it's a bit of a challenge because you have to sieve out these teams. And then when you sieve out these teams, you're kind of left with not many teams left that are in the bracket of the kind of teams you want to have in your league. And I know X League as well. I know Naveen quite well, and I know he does this process as well of trying to sieve out teams. But I know some sure fall through the cracks and come in.
But I think for this situation, right, if we talk about how aggressive teams are, I think 20 years we have been playing for 20 years, right? Every team that comes in and shows aggression basically are just playing football. You know, and if it goes beyond that, then it's the responsibility of the referee to deal with them and make sure that everything is right on the pitch.
Yeah.
If you're going in a full force tackle, you get the ball, you get the player, but you get the ball first. But eventually the player gets injured. Football is a contact sport, you know?
Yeah.
But then again, it really depends on how the referee is going to deal with the situation. He's going to step in, he's going to say, hey, you know what, this is not a foul, but it's dangerous. So I'm pulling this ball back and giving this free kick. And if you guys going to do this again, I will cut you guys out.
Yeah.
Such stern warnings will actually set the tone right for the teams that are playing. You know? So if you ask me, I think apart from the teams that want to set their name, I think everybody just wants to play football and they are competitive on the pitch. You know, maybe that's the only way that they can express themselves playing good football. Maybe not the modern football, but there are players who just want to go in there, get a few tackles in, get the interceptions in, win the 50-50 balls, win the headers. And if you get a cut on your head because you win the ball first and the player nudges you, you just come back home and say sorry to your wife, and people are happy with that. You know, but if the
So, Ras, no prizes for guessing who's the aggressive one in our team.
Yeah. I can see already.
so to me, it's really about where exactly the referee wants to position himself to state what is right and what is wrong in accordance to the law of the game, so that players don't impede the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And if the referee does their job right, any team, whether aggressive or not, will know how to play their game right and know what's wrong, actually. Yeah.
Okay, that's another aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Vic, this question is for you. Kamikaze, how have they contributed to the local football community? It's a deep question.
Yeah, I know. I know. When I saw that question, I was like, I had to think long and hard. But I'll answer this in three ways. I try to keep it as short as possible. The first thing is, I think we started off with we looked inward. We wanted to know what we wanted to do. So I have to mention two very important people here at this point. Seelan, Jay Seelan, one of our pioneer managers, and our founder, Harish. I think Harish is a well-known name in the futsal scene. People will know him very widely forward. So once I think the three of us sat down, we talked, we said, we don't want Kamikaze to be just another team, forgotten. We want continuity. We want to be known. And when we sat down, we said the only way to do that is we need to be open to talent. And this is a problem with every amateur team in whatever sport you look at it, whichever part of the world you look at it. Right? It's a very big problem that existing players are not always receptive to new players. But I think we broke the mold. I think we had a way where we communicated very tactfully to our players who we felt that maybe have run the course in competitive football and said, maybe we want to take it to a social level. We were very upfront with our communication at the end of the season. We always do it at the end of the season. We say, maybe it's time you take a break. We are looking at another players, and we make it a point to bring in new talent. So, and I think other teams saw us doing this, and I think they've been more open to developing players. Okay. And I think in terms of amateur football, the second thing we did is, I think although we are a social team, we're not even an amateur team. We are a social team. We have always run ourselves very professionally. We have layers of management. It's never a one-man job. So we have we have delegated multiple roles. So everyone takes care of their roles. And we run things very professionally. We have reviews. We even have our club constitution that is drafted to guide the way we do our things. We have player appraisals. We have things like even the way we highlight our players. We started off last time when technology was not a big thing back 15 years ago. Blog was a big thing. So we had match reports in our blog. We kept track of our data. Now with the Excel and things like that, data collection has been so much easier. But we track the performance. So and teams have caught up. So whatever we do, we implement the way we do our things. Teams catch up. The third thing that we do is, I think we have always, I think the players mentioned is, we have always tried to play football in the right way. The way we conduct ourselves on the pitch. We are hard, we are aggressive, we want to win. But at the end of the game, we make it a point to shake the hands of the opponents, to to shake the hands of the referees. And when we see an opponent player play well, we go and say, hey, good job. By doing this, I think we are setting an example for other teams. Of course, we are not a perfect team. I think there are days where we lose our cool. We are known to not be very good losers. We do, but we apologize. I think we put our hands and we say, when we do wrong, we apologize, we move on. And I think when teams see that, our greatest compliment that we get is when we see teams, going on to their social media profiles, organizing their social media in the same way we do. I think we are happy because we want more social teams to think of themselves as professionally. That to us is the biggest compliment.
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
I wouldn't know. To be honest, I wouldn't call it imitation because we have ourselves. What we call it is inspiration. Okay, yeah, we are constantly. To be honest, when we see teams have a good process, I'll be the first to take it because that's the only way you develop. And but the toughest thing is always to explaining to our own players why we do certain things because everyone is resistant to change. Even I myself, we are resistant to change. So, but to communicate, to have that open communication with your players, to get them to move on with times, it takes effort, but I think it's an effort well spent.
And when you mention player appraisal form, that's certainly the teacher in you talking.
Of course, definitely. I would think that the civil service has trained me very well.
Yeah.
A lot of things that we put in process, right? Yeah, it's good. We take the good in wherever we go. Yeah. No, but it's important. I think it's not so much to because to be honest, at social team, we don't pay our players. Our players pay for the match.
Yeah.
But I think they also deserve to know how they've improved, what their strengths are. Players come into our team as a center. They will come and, I'm a center mid. Then after 2-3 games, we realize, hey, this guy's positioning is not very good, but he tackles well and he's got pace. Maybe he might be a better left back. And then he'll be so resistant. Nobody wants to play defense and then to a left back, right? But then he will go on to be one of the best left backs we've had. And how many players come in as wingers, then they become a center mid. Come in as a forward, we make him a center back. And they become very good at their position. So, and the key is open communication.
That's also identifying talent. Identifying the right positions, actually.
Yeah.
Would you want to see Kamikaze playing in Singapore Football League in the future? Is that a plan?
It has been the plan for the longest year. I'll be very honest, for the past 7 years. Yeah. From 2017, that has been the plan. But the implications are great because in social football, your pool of players, right? Not all of them want to play semi-professional or amateur football in that sense, because I think it takes a lot of commitment. When you're talking about Singapore Football League, SFL, what it immediately means is one midweek training. And then, you have to, the money is the least of the problems. I think finance is not a problem. We can sort it out. But I think the commitment, and then what happens is there are some group of players within our team who will not really be able to cope with that level of football.
Okay.
Then what happens to them? So these are questions that we are continuously wrestling. But I think at the same time, we the two teams that we have right now, I think there is opportunity there. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of things coming together and a good crop of players coming together. I think when these things get settled, it's not a goal that we are giving up yet. We definitely want to be in SFL. In fact, I was watching Darwin's interview, and if you Nanda, Darwin, Nanda was my inspiration growing up as a teenager in Potomasi. Yeah. So I'll tell you, Project Waltz is an inspiration to us. So we are constantly looking at how they are doing things, how they're able to cope with it. But we also want to stay true to our roots. And one of the things, we try not to leave anyone behind. So once we settle the question of how we're going to manage to SFL team with a social team, you will definitely see us in an island-wide league.
Okay, all the best. I wish you all the best for that. But it's not the end of the episode yet.
Yes, of course.
Dinesh, how do you feel the current state of grassroots social football is in Singapore? I think most of it you've already answered in the earlier question. Is there anything you want to add to that?
I think if you ask me this question, the grassroots football in Singapore, right, reflects both promise and challenges. You know, the positive developments, if you come to think of it, is the community initiatives, programs like Unleash the Raw, the new, the new leagues for the youth. This kind they are trying to rejuvenate football through grassroots engagement and collaboration with schools. Providing like a clearer development pipeline for young talents for the coming years. Then we have the inclusive platforms like the amateur leagues, like all the D2D, X League, and all of these leagues. Basically, these leagues and continue to thrive. Offering a platform for us, and for many other teams to basically stay active and competitive at least. You will say that. But the challenges, if you think about it, is the decline in youth interest. The modern lifestyle changes, the academic pressure, the digital distraction. On top of that, the financial constraint that grassroots often lack. The inadequate that they lack the adequate funding and sponsorship. Leaving the amateur teams to just manage the rising costs for training, field rentals, and equipment. And these are some of the things that are the challenges. Apart from that, is also the facilities and space issues.
Yeah.
More often than not, if you see a big space of land, the next thing we want to do is when is the next video coming up?
Housing, yeah.
Basically that's how basically Turf City said bye bye.
Yeah.
There were 5 great pitches now. I'm not sure what's the plan, but it just shut down now. So competition for playing spaces, right, continue to grow, and teams often struggle to book fields due to the limited availability of it. But then if you think on a overall outlook, grassroots football in Singapore holds a lot of potential actually. While initiatives to rebuild the culture, the football culture, is underway. They're trying to start new things. The success of the grassroots efforts will depend on consistent and constant investment. On top of that, we also need the community support, and we need to create an environment that rekindles the nation's passion for this particular sport, football.
So sorry to butt in. I think I just want to add one point, Russ. I mean, I know your viewership is quite high. The one thing that we need to do is that we already have the resources. We have our secondary school fields, the dual use fields. All they need to do, we have the fields there, we have the infrastructure there. All you need to do is add in the floodlights. Of course, it will come with a cost. But if you're really motivated about improving football, put in the cost, put in the floodlights, open the fields out in the weekend. In the weekdays, weekday nights, right? Once you open that up, there's so many slots available. Immediately, right, you are like multiplying the slots by 2, 3, and that itself will create a lot of potential. And in fact, once you do that, you have wardens that you need to hire. So you're actually creating employment opportunities for people. There's a lot of things that come in. You're creating a round the week football culture, and I think organizers will love this as well.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of UTR saying that, are we ready to put in this cost? Are we ready to put in this extra money? Recouping is not a problem. I tell you, teams are willing to pay. The problem is there's a lack of fields.
Yeah. I think earlier on you made that point. I think it's a very poignant point, which is that they're looking at it as, okay, youth development.
Yeah.
And nobody really cares about grassroots football, and it's just like, like what you say, it's just adults, veterans, uncles playing football.
They want to
weekend
stay fit and
away.
commit.
Yeah, just to play fit, just to keep fit. You might have the occasional fights, and police might come in, and all that bad publicity and all that comes with it. So that's just okay. You just handle yourself. All the private organizers, all of you just handle it yourself, and on your own devices, so to speak. So
it really
I
depends.
completely agree with you that we need to have like maybe one body that will encompass this, would bring this. I would say that should fall under FAS. I would think that makes sense that FAS takes the grassroots football and brings it under its umbrella and incentivize private organizers to, have these leagues under their umbrella, and
Yeah.
and they give us some perks to be part of this program. So I would think that would be the case, but nothing really. This kind of logical things maybe is not really the priority lah. It's obviously not a priority. That's why nothing's been done yet.
So it really depends on what are you going to put in to make it happen. It really depends on at what expense are you going to make this happen for everyone, and how are you going to address the current challenges to rebuild Singapore's football ecosystem from ground up. Those are things that one has to think about. Yeah.
And you mentioned about football community as well. How can they better support teams like yourself?
I think so far they have always been, whenever we want to join a league, and then they tell us it comes with a price, and these are the things they and I understand where they are coming from a organizer perspective, external organizer perspective, who just wants to make sure that people play football and all of that. So if you ask me, we try and share their burden. What can be a challenge to them. We try and see how best we can ease them. Because we want to play. And if they are given a bit more resource, it will definitely make our life easier. But at this point of time, they are not given the resource, and you cannot just put it on them to settle everything. And we just want to come in week in and week out and play and say, you know what, that's it. I'm done. I'm good. I played a match. I'm happy. I'm leaving. If everyone's going to have the mentality, then we are never going to grow. As a nation, and the football ecosystem will never. So you have to really sit down and think as a whole. Everybody as a whole has to step in, play their part, do what everyone needs to do to bring back the Kalang Raw, they say, Yeah.
Yeah. True. Jana, I hope you've not fallen asleep. What role does Kamikaze FC play in inspiring the next generation? Dinesh has spoken about difficulties in getting the next generation, but how can you are part of the youth team now, or rather the younger generation team? How do you think Kamikaze can inspire this next generation to come forward and play football outside of school life? Because I'm sure some of them, or quite a number of them, would be playing in their schooling life, but once they step out, I think like Dinesh mentioned, a lot of them nowadays they're not like our generation where football is a priority. Now it's like, oh, I want to go out, I want to go and meet my girlfriend, I want to work is another one that's quite common nowadays, more common than our time. I mean, our time we worked as well, but it's just that we gave priority to football as well. We gave some semblance. But yeah, Jana.
Okay, so this one is the trouble that we face with the current generation. You call it your Gen Z or whatever the younger generation. Their priorities are different. Not like how we were. We don't have this media where we don't have this handphone, TikTok, and stuff, right? Our main job was after studies, we're gonna play soccer. That's it.
Yeah.
Now they just want to hang out, they want to do all these things. So what we do is usually we have this younger group of chaps in our team, Kavi, Ara, Sivaraj, those who started up this the MMXV, which is our junior team. They actually went to go and sort these players, their friends who are out there playing soccer under the block, like what they said before, street soccer court competitions. Bring them in, come talk to them. Hey, let's play together, let's join together, let's have a team. They started off as a team, like what we did 20 years ago. They slowly develop themselves. Then they have their friends who are out there who see that this is happening, and they bring them in as well. So what I can say that the higher management did when we came was we actually helped them also. So we brought in some more senior guys into the team to make it a balance, and then we got the senior guys to go search around. So because we play in other leagues as well, sometimes we play other teams and other competitions, we see players. All we got to do is at this current generation, current system that we're in, right, we need to let the guys know that, you know what, this can be part of your life as well. Not only your social media or meeting your girlfriend or going for movies, holidays. Soccer can be part of your life. You can be part of social media in soccer. You can be part of, you can bring your girlfriend for soccer. You can bring your whole family to soccer because Kamikaze is a family team. We are not the kind of team that, we just want the boys to be there. You can bring your whole family, your mom, dad, your kids, watch us play. That's how we do on a weekly basis. Sometimes some of the kids bring their girlfriends, and we all are close in the fact. We go for each other's wedding, the whole family in fact knows us. Some of the grandmothers even knows us when we see us outside. That's how close we are. So when they see that, this is not just a team of soccer, it's a team that brings in our family together with their family. I'm very sure anybody, even the current generation who are 19 or even 17, that wants to play, if their parents who are maybe slightly above our age and knows that this is happening, they will bring their kids in to play first. So that's what we do. We reach out not only to players, but to their family as well. And I'm very sure Kamikaze is, I think I can proudly say that Kamikaze is one of the household Indian soccer team name that we have now. Because of the 20 years of work that from the start, where we started off with Victor and Sidan, all the way to Nash, then we came up to Kavi, all how we've been doing so far.
That's a very holistic approach that you've taken, and that's good. Very clever as well. Vic, any exciting plans or in the future? Or any initiatives in the pipeline, sorry?
Yes, I think one of the things that we want to do is right now we have had three distinct teams, the veterans. We have our MMXV and we have the Kamikaze FC. So in fact, this year was our 20th anniversary, but it was a very busy year, so we didn't really do a big one. But next year we intend to do to mark 21 years, right? We intend to do a big coming together. In fact, we've been talking about this for a while, but I think it's something that we are poised to do in 2025. We want to do for ourselves. I think more than ourselves, it's to recognize all the trailblazers who have paved this way for us. That's why I tell the boys as well. Like he mentioned the current group of chaps. We have had so many good players, even for the in Dinesh's team, right? We had people like Prateep, we have Nick, we have had all these players, Rizal, all these players who have all done their best, and they have moved on with their lives, but their achievements, their contributions will all be there. So what we want to do is we want to have a night where we honor these achievements, honor every single player. I think once a Kamikaze or always a Kamikaze is not something that we just say as a social media handle. It's something we truly believe in. And once we get that sorted, I think the second step will be recalibrate the two teams and chart a path forward to eventually, I think 3-year goal, get into the island-wide. Even whether we actually win the island-wide, we get promoted, I think that's a secondary question. To get ourselves into an island-wide league and test ourselves. Competing there. I think that has to be the baseline goal for any social team.
Okay, I'm curious to know as well, is your team sponsored in any way, or do you have any partners?
Sponsored. we are the sponsors. The players are our sponsors. I mentioned earlier Jay Sealand. So he runs insurance agency, JMS Allied Partners. So they are currently our sponsors, but jersey sponsors. But otherwise, we are a self-funded team. So that's one of our greatest achievements. When we took the team, right, we were in depth. We were owing organizers. That time you can play a match and then you can play later. So we were owing organizers around Singapore about $400 now. So, but in a span of 7 months, right, we wiped up our debt. Now both team has a healthy surplus. We have every season we are printing jerseys. Last time we didn't even have jerseys, all wear red, all wear blue. It's that kind of things. Now every season we are making jerseys and all of that. The reason why we don't have sponsors is because I think usually sponsorship comes with conditions, and I think we want to maintain our independence for as long as we can.
Okay.
There was also another one more of our friend. He was also part of Kamikaze, but he's in and out because he's of work and all of that. So when he actually find out that this guy called Naveen, when he found out that we are actually printing new jerseys, he actually said, "Oh, you know what? I will sponsor half of the price." Just willingly, he said that. Yeah. So
he was creating a ruckus, angry. He said, "Hey, how come you all didn't ask me?" And say, "I'm going to sponsor." So that's how we get our sponsors.
Yeah.
Okay. Through goodwill then.
Through goodwill. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just before we close this episode, Dinesh, maybe you could tell us how can our listeners connect with Kamikaze FC and also support your team and join your team as well. I'm sure you need players.
So we don't have to, readjust the wheel or do anything new. Social media platforms are usually the best way to connect with us. So we do have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. So the Facebook page basically is the Kamikaze FC, and if you find, and then we have quite a number of followers there. Just drop us a text there and all of that. And then for Kamikaze, in the Instagram page, basically we are Team Kamikaze _ FC. And we have usual post there. So it's Team Kamikaze _ FC.
Okay.
You can just drop us a message there, and then there are a few of us who are holding the rights to the account. Then usually when we want to reply, we will say, hey, is this the correct way to reply? We'll come back into the management team first and say, hey, someone has messaged this. What next? We want to make sure that we are all on the same page. So we get everybody on the same page first, and then we'll reply. So if we are taking a bit of time to reply, it's not that we are not seeing you guys yet. It's because we're taking our time to make sure that we get you the most appropriate answer across. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So to get in touch with us is basically our Facebook page as well as our Instagram page. We are active on both platforms actually.
Okay, that's it. And everyone's heard that. Facebook page, Instagram page, you're finding Kamikaze for maybe even for a friendly match, or you want to support the team, or you in some way, maybe it could be through sponsorship, could be through partnership, or let's just say you want to join the team as well. So this is where you're going to look out for them, Facebook and Instagram. I will include the handle in the captions on our post when this episode is out. So
Sure.
people can, there's a hyperlink and they can go directly to the pages.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
Before we leave, Ras, just
Yes.
one last point. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Ras. Really, I think
Welcome.
to get our voices heard, to get ourselves heard, to giving us this platform. Thank you so much. And I think you've been a good friend, not just for me and for Kamikaze as well. Over the years we have had good memories. Thank you so much for doing this for social football and grassroots football. I think we need voices like you, and I truly mean that. Thank you for flying the flag high. But on one note, tomorrow I hope that Singapore beats Malaysia. So that's
Not tomorrow, it's Friday.
Oh, Friday, yeah, but yes.
Yes. So this gives you an indication when we recorded this.
Yeah.
So you will come out afterwards. Actually, you will come out closer to Boxing Day, actually, when this episode
right.
will come out. But yeah, this gives you an indication when we recorded this. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, it's been a pleasure
Thank you so
speaking to you. It's a pleasure of mine as well to have you guys on the show. Also, shout out to the guy who's working with me on this feature, Lingesh, all the way in UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, guys. I wish you guys all the best. Hopefully, our paths cross one day. We are all in the same industry, so to speak. So yeah, hopefully our paths cross one day in one form or another.
We are sure it will. We're sure it will.
All right.
Yes.
So before we leave, we always will say one thing, and that's for Kamikaze. So Viva la
Kamikaze! Got the wrong measure.
So that's our tagline usually.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks,
Nice,
Russ.
nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russ.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome. My pleasure.
See you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
As well now.